You can't talk about hamsters after just talking about your butt. Like
that's $6. Can I see what that mouth do though for $6? How much you got in it? $26.
No.
You let me in and we run a train on you right now.
What can you get for $26?
You can buy me a drink for $26.
Whoa.
Can we slip something in your drink, then take it?
Actually, I sniffed your chair last time you was
You're
here.
a sick person.
I know. I did. I couldn't help it. You're Jay.
Never fails.
Action. How did Charlamagne Tha God become the spokesperson for black people? How in the world this guy, do you remember the early Charlamagne Tha God? He used to sniff women's chairs. When J-Lo left the Breakfast Club, this guy was sniffing her chair, talking about, oh, I want to taste your fart. This person, he used to be like a shock jock. All of a sudden, he becomes the voice of black people. And now when we want to talk about black people, black men very specifically in America, guess what, man? Congratulations to so many wonderful black folks. Y'all showed out for Kamala. Black people voted like 92% for Kamala. 80% of black men voted for Kamala. How does it feel to vote for a loser, huh? You ain't have no political agenda. You want to align with a loser. And after you lost, you still acting like a loser. Charlamagne sitting there asking questions, talking about, how did the fascist win? How did the felon win?
Charlamagne is simp, and he represents all the simp men in our culture. I'm just going to say it. I think right now, as a whole, black men, we're weak. We showed that in this election, that we're weak, that we're crybabies. Anton Davis said he felt it was a white man. I totally disagree, vehemently disagree. It is us, the black men, that we went with our woman because based off of feeling, and that is terrible. At the rate in which we voted for Kamala, she had again, thank you, brother, for saying this. You guys were so angry at the country making a decision to vote for Donald Trump, and you've blamed him and pointed the fingers at him and called him a racist, called him sexist, but you have not looked at your own political party and said, hey, we did not have a political agenda. We did not talk to the common man.
They had a political agenda. And their political agenda, when she came to Houston, it was reproductive rights. And so when this man, he said, but Donald Trump, he's like Hitler. And I was like, man, Hitler, he actually had to annihilate people in order to become Hitler. Who has Donald Trump annihilated? So I thought about the Democratic Party, and I thought about Roe versus Wade in 1973. And since 1973, 63 million babies haven't been able to see the light of day. 63 million. You want some context since you want to talk about Hitler? World War II estimated 65 and 80 million people. They went bye-bye, okay? Just like these 63 million babies. It's equivalent to a world war, the way we terminate children. And you wanted me to vote for that. I have children. I'm a father. Mothers and fathers voted, hell no, you can't touch my children. They ain't finna be no trans. They ain't finna be gay. The parents of America have spoken.
And that's what you get. It's not black and white. It's red and blue. You guys have to understand, as society changes, socioeconomically. You want me to get this out of here?
No, I said red and blue. And blue.
Yeah. That's funny.
This is the break in America now.
That's funny. We're red and blue. It's not black and white. Because listen, as socioeconomic environments change, as class change, guess what? We determine, me and this brother said, hey, as fathers, I may not agree with this man that lives in a homogenous town in Missouri agrees with certain politics, but we can say that we want our boys to be boys, our girls to be girls. We have conservative views, and we can vote in alignment. Why don't y'all see that?
And we want our border to be closed.
Everybody agree, even Latinos.
Hey, and so when those numbers matter, the exit polls, they matter so much. So when 54% of essays, when y'all go vote for Donald Trump, and when he specifically said this was part of his agenda, we're finna deport people. And Mexicans was like, hell yes, please and thank you. Because these people, they're not like us. They not like us. Essays are doing their thing, and you know what I'm saying? Because they understand what an economy is. If you don't have borders, you don't have a nation.
Should we say we're the prophetic podcast? Because I really believe if you put some links to some previous episodes, we were talking about this, and we did talk about exit polls, because we were saying, hey, and you've seen us switch views on here too, because we've talked about, hey, we wasn't going to vote. And then we said, no, we are going to vote. And why are we going to vote? What became a big part of this election was the exit polls, because what we want you to say is,
I'm a man. I have feelings.
Yeah.
And I was upset. I was very upset with the political options that I had. I was like, I don't like these candidates. They forced Kamala upon me, and Donald Trump really doesn't represent my political views.
Right.
But socially, we're in alignment now. And so I was very emotional at that time. Man, I'm sitting there talking to my friend, my actual friend, known this man for the majority of my life. And he's devastated by the fact that this woman lost. You know, so many people are gonna be hurt. I'm like, so many babies are finna live. 500 to 900,000 babies are executed every single year. 1 million babies a year. And y'all talk about Palestine, you talk about Ukraine. When Kanye West, I wanted him to be the president. I think he would have been a phenomenal president because we gotta shake this thing up a little bit. But when this guy said that there's a genocide happening in the black community and it's happening to Planned Parenthood, they called him crazy and said, take your medication. But when you look at the numbers, you're like, holy Christ.
He spoke on this. Candace Owens has spoke on this. Hey, you know what's even wilder, black people? Because I'm talking to you, because you didn't cause the most ruckus, you and our woman. Now, that black woman was the loud mascot, loud and wrong.
What black woman?
The black woman in the black community, all of them. They were loud.
Okay.
And they
I
were.
thought you were talking about Kamala. I was like, man, you better leave that Indian woman alone.
That boy hit y'all with a stand-up.
She went back to the curry kitchen.
Y'all were loud and wrong. Everybody collectively got together and was just talking a bunch of nonsense and in praise of a bunch of nonsense, especially when it comes to her. But here's the funny part. The black conscious community has already spoken on Planned Parenthood. The black conscious community has already
Who's the black conscious community?
Well,
is Mark Lamont Hill part of the black conscious community?
Nah, I don't think so. I was gonna say Dr. Umar Johnson. I could even go Cyrus Sutansetti. I can bring out some old school cats but what I'm saying is there was a time where we were in alignment with this information. How in 4 months, you guys just totally went to a party that has nothing to do with you, really, to be totally honest, that had no real political plan for anybody outside of their perversion that they were pushing. And you just turned your backs on that. You know what I asked my brother?
What you asked?
I said, hey, how is aborting children and the issue of transgender not far left? He told me that's not far left. How is that not far left? Y'all went so far left that many people decided to go right. And you know what? I believe this too. I heard a sister say this. Do we really have a good apparatus?
I don't even go ahead. As we have these I'm sorry.
No.
As we have these conversations, I don't think we're having like, if you go back to 1990 when Bill Clinton was running for president, bro, he would be a conservative person right now. If he ran for president right now, he'd be running for the Republican Party right now.
You know, Yvette Cornell said that she felt like Harris is more conservative. For real, if you go look at like her political past. Yes. Like she kind of that's what happens. They'll get into, she became the nominee and pushed like these super liberal things. But she was like, and the real Democratic Party of the day that you remember, for those of us that remember like the 90s, they would be considered conservative today. So how did we get to this party where we're at right here, right now?
Today, I'd vote for George Bush 10 times out of 10 today.
Oh,
Based on what's happening right now. And they said he played politician very well. He spoke to the common person. When he took pictures, they had him out there on his ranch, cutting down trees, acting like a man. And so when I was having this conversation with my friend last night until 1 o'clock in the morning, and so he starts to try to chastise me because I'm actually politically aware and can go back in history from my lifetime and show you what candidate did, what said, what the positions they ran on. And so now when we come to this election, all of a sudden, America has spoken. Donald Trump is the president, whether you like it or not. And he wanted to call me dumb, ignorant, and all these things and all these words. And I'm like, okay. I can be ignorant. Just explain to me how I'm ignorant. I'm listening. Maybe I have a blind spot and I need you to inform me. I'm listening. But then when I push back and I say, tell me how, and there's no thing, and then you're just saying stuff. And I'm like, now we got to get to punching. Hell no, bro. Because the internet and the phone, the distance from men has made it so that you think that it's sweet, nigga. It ain't sweet. It is not sweet. No one wants to. It's uncomfortable. You was in boot camp. Mm-hmm. And in boot camp, when 80 men is in this damn thing and someone's messing it up, you got to go to that back wall and get to punching.
It's gonna go down when you have a bunch of men in the room. It's a low level threat of violence there. Let me say this, specifically black men. I am disappointed in you. I am disappointed in how emotional everything that is wrong with you has definitely come out in this election, and I think it's time to address it. Sometimes, I have a wide range of things that I talk about. We have a wide range of things that we talk about here. But specifically you in this election, because it is pertinent that we understand the political process. What is wrong with you? You following your woman, you'll follow your woman into hell.
Black people are subservient. They will too. Black men are subservient to black people in general. We're subservient to the Democratic Party. Black men are subservient to black women. And I'm just looking at I'm looking at Mark Lamont Hill. So he's on the Joe Budden podcast now. And so they're talking about protecting women. He's like, I agree with you. I think that we're supposed to protect women. But from my worldview, a trans woman is a woman. They're like, don't nobody else agree with that, Mark Lamont Hill? Because the moment that you say that you want to protect trans women, yes. The moment you say you want to protect trans women, the thing you're saying is you want to protect men. That's crazy as hell.
I think a lot of these dudes are just waiting for the segue when they can come out and say they got a trans woman. I mean, that's what we're really talking about. And also, if you really protecting women's rights, how are you protecting women's rights by bringing in men and saying they're women? I don't where are we? Are we living in a sci-fi movie? I believe we are. I believe that we are really living in some fabricated society that is being watched by aliens on other planets, because this is the wildest shit on the, I don't see how we are missing. Because am I tripping? Because
men are not getting to punching. I'm telling you this. When you say a low threat of violence, man,
you want to whoop somebody.
I don't want to whoop anybody. You know, I'm so honest. Hey, man, I might get beat up 10 times out of 10, and I don't mind. I will fight an 11th time because I believe what I believe.
You a man.
And it's not going to change.
You a man.
Just because you beat me up doesn't mean that all of a sudden I believe what you believe. Hell no. It means I still believe what I believe.
Can I share a personal story?
And now I got to punch this nigga in his liver, so you fucking know.
I don't want to cut y'all. This is personal.
Run it.
Hey, I was supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. I have a 9 o'clock time, recording time here. And we treat this is a professional environment. I was late. He sends me a message like, hey, respectfully, you need to be here on time. I didn't get all upset.
I thought I was gracious. I don't think I.
No. Look, maybe my deliverance. See, look, well, that go to show you that I can take someone being stern. Maybe that's the military in us. I could take someone being stern and I can take correction, because correction is protection. My brother trying to protect me. So regardless, I understand the environment. I didn't come here with bad energy. I wasn't didn't want to talk. I didn't treat him a certain way because as men.
Do you think my intentions are bad?
No.
I'm trying. I want to get this recorded, and when we get this recorded,
he want to get it out.
I'm finna go catch a bus. I'm gonna go upload this thing. I'm gonna create a thumbnail, and I want the people to have it by 12, 1 o'clock.
But what's the point?
I'm just saying that's the system.
But
you're right.
It's all encompassing. There's a system. There's a plan. This brother has a plan for us here. Let me make that clear. I have to be able to take direction. I can't let my ego supersede something that's going to benefit me. Women aren't capable of doing this. So as men, when we're in our community...
There's some of them, because they're going to listen and get mad.
Piquito. But my point is...
There are some objective women in the world.
You need us to do this so our communities are stable and think with a sound mind. And sometimes I'm weak. He has to step up and be stronger. Sometimes it's opposite. Masculinity, make masculinity great. He exemplified masculinity by being able to come to me and not hide how he felt and give correction. And I exhibited masculinity by accepting it. And this is where this all comes into this political conversation we're having. Why do we have grown men crying and arguing with one another over the of men exhibiting how they really feel, exhibiting correction, exhibiting masculinity to its fullest potential? Why do we have men out here crying and whining to each other about this? And it's mainly our people.
Why can't we tell the truth? Like most men, if you're in a relationship, you are the dominant person in that relationship. You're not supposed to be domineering. You're compassionate and kind, but when things have to get done, you got to make sure they get done. If the roof is leaking, you fix the roof. If the tire is flat, you fix the tire. Whatever the physical thing that needs to be done, you do the thing, and you also have to be emotionally available. Hey, men are showing up for black women in the biggest ways possible. But then when it comes to actually, because I care, man. You love women so much. Hell yeah, respect them, love them, hold them, embrace them. Yeah. But you also have to admonish them. You also have to discipline them. You also have to be able to tell them the truth. Hey, woman, we got things to do.
Right.
And so when Kamala has all these programs and you can't buy me, Like when they pass a bill, the bill's 1,000 pages, and it might say we're going to pass healthcare, and then on page 997 it says, and children get to have transition surgeries based on this bill. And so when I get to those 2 pages, then all of a sudden the 1,000-page bill is dead. Because you're not finna cut on no children. What is the Democratic Party's fascination with babies? J.D. Vance is going to be the biggest problem for the Democratic Party for the next 20 years. This man said, hey, Kamala Harris, you ain't got no children. Hey, Pete Buttigieg, you ain't no daddy. You bought those babies. Hey, AOC, you talk a whole lot. You need to go find a man. You're only going to be pretty for so long. Why are we playing? You can't say the damn elephant in the room because it hurts this person's feelings. You know what's hurting my feelings? Watching people not care about babies.
Hey, you cooking, and I'm going to tell you something. Y'all do realize that this is going to be a red wave for you. Just get ready for 12 years. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the Democratic Party, you don't have any real political solutions outside of perversion. And you're very in the minute. And I'm glad you talked about J.D. Vance and we talked about podcasts. Hey, I didn't really know much about J.D. Vance. I'm just taking this up. I'm sorry. I didn't really know much about J.D. Vance. But when I looked at the Joe Rogan show, I got to learn a lot about him. And I have to be honest. I was like, what's the big deal with this guy? Let me tell you something. When you sit down with somebody for 3 hours in any capacity, you may not get to know everything about that person, but you can get a lot off of someone and what they're really about.
The audience can see you lying. I can see you sweating. I can see you squirming. I can see you laugh. I can see your physical response. Unedited, pure emotion.
Donald Trump standing on business. J.D. Vance standing on business. Elon Musk standing on business. And as a man, I can respect that. Even if I don't agree. Hey, this is my... I'm gonna use this is my best friend. This is my best friend.
My nigga.
We brothers. Honestly, like we just and I think this pod has brought us together closer. But we don't always agree. But I'm gonna take my chances with him because I know he's solid. He ain't gotta be perfect, but he's solid. So because he's standing on business, I can be around him all the time. That's men. You know what? We talking about masculinity on this show. So we're talking about what masculinity is. I don't have to be in alignment with you all the time. We didn't got on here and like, nah, I don't agree with that. And when we might get off the show and be like, I don't agree with that. I've never walked away from him and called him a name.
So when I say get to punching, it's like understanding the historical value of when it comes to friction. I say friction. World War II, 80 million people. The Civil War, 800,000 people. When you like at every point, when groups of people have disagreements about things that are fundamentally wrong, we can't, as a nation, white men included, which are the majority of this nation, made a decision that slavery is fundamentally wrong. It is not to the economic benefit of this nation going forward. And so they were willing to sacrifice their lives for this ideology, huh? I need you to understand something. My children, I believe in them. I believe that children are the future. And it's not just a belief. Without them, there is no future. And so therefore, whatever needs to be done is going to be done to protect these children, to get your knives away from these children, to make sure that these children can have the most prosperous, wonderful existence in America and around the world. Man, I'm fighting for babies around the globe. If you don't like it, we can get to punching. I don't care.
Did you see what Donald Trump said about nuclear families?
What'd he say?
He want to push that. What we been talking about? We've been talking about that here too. Like we want to see men and women come together and have nuclear families are at the fabric of our society. It's how we get what we have in this country. And by the way, I want to say something else. The Constitution, the United States Constitution in the United States, next to the Bible, to me, is the greatest document on earth. Donald Trump, it was created in such a way that no one can just come change it. Y'all don't even understand the 3 branches of government. Y'all need to go back to high school and sit in the government class. He can't just come in and declare himself to be, he's not a fascist, he's not Hitler, and just take over and be a dictator. Do y'all understand how many amendments have actually gone through since the time this country's existence?
And so I started to really evaluate our system and these branches of government. And as I drafted a document, I was like, the most important branch of the government is the silent branch, which is the people. Your responsibility as an American citizen is to hold these people accountable. The Declaration of Independence says very specifically, when the people who govern you no longer benefit your best interest, it's the right of the people to overthrow said government. That's not sedition. That's written into the foundational documents of this nation. And so when people get mad about Donald Trump, number one, if he comes in here and he does things that you don't like in 2 years in the midterm elections, you're gonna get that. It's gonna be a blue wave. If you uphold your civic responsibility, if you pay attention, if you only show up every 4 years, then they'll do whatever they want to you. Now this is just understanding. And now if you have a mandate and Americans say we don't want you to mess with our children, and you still pass laws, then guess what the people got to do? 100 million people got to show up and say, we don't like that. You must stop that, or else you got to leave.
And I think we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility here because we've started this journey having political commentary. Now we're going to be really in our political commentary will be intense now. Just the way when Obama got in, I used to turn on Rush Limbaugh and listen to Sean Hannity and them, and they were just intense every day until the next election. We have so much to cover, but we got to stay on y'all butt, because guess what? We're going to hold everybody accountable, because, hey, if you don't, this is for the people, by the people. If we don't like something, we indeed can change it, but we need to educate y'all and stop all this nonsense and getting mad because this lady didn't win, knowing she meant you no well. She meant you no well, and everybody knew it, and guess what? We probably went to the shrine of the Black Madonna. I did. I was proud that day, and I went and cast my vote for that white man, Donald Trump, because I knew that he was going to bring order back. I knew he was going to instill order back and save us from that doggone Democratic Party. And you know what? I would almost bet that we wasn't the only black men that went in there and did that.
Statistically, it says that it was very rare. Do you really believe black men showed up for Kamala? And I'm just so confused.
Maybe. You're right.
I'm just so confused. I'm lost, because at home you're a leader, at work you're a leader, and war you're a leader, in every aspect of this world you're a leader. Then all of a sudden, when it comes to things in politics, you say, "Oh, I think a woman should do it. I'm so egalitarian. I'm so kind. Hell yeah, hell yeah." I was like, there's an old lady, and she was carrying her groceries up the stairs, and my brother, he went over there and started helping her carry her groceries. I was like, damn, like, I'm supposed to go help this old lady. Like, that's what I'm supposed to do, because like that's why I got muscles to support. But when the ideology is, because I'm scared. You trying to holler at me? I had an old lady think that I was trying to holler at her because I was trying to help her. I was like, that cool. You know what? I'm gonna just step away from you, lady. I do not want your depends. The hell's wrong with you?
Hey, my father told me this when I was young. He said, the white man cared more about his money than his woman. The black man cared more about his money. He cared more about his woman than his money. And I feel like, did I say it right?
Why is that?
Because I just think that's where we're rendered, and that's where our heart is at. And honestly, this may sound a little, I would say, counterintuitive to what I typically talk about, but I'll say this. I liken it to purpose. Black men, be on your purpose and be about your vision the way other men are, and build your castle from there. When you put all your time and focus into your woman.
I'm talking about, because you're right, but we gotta
go back. Let's go back.
We gotta have some fun. No, we gotta have some fun. Okay. Like, the things that you're saying right now, it could be true, but y'all don't want to tell the truth. Numbers really do matter. 75% of white people own their property, and so when you have your house and you still got grandma's house and you got the other grandma's house, you got a community of property. Everybody's dead. When everyone dies, then all of a sudden you got all this property. Black folks don't own nothing. When I say black folks don't own nothing, you get offended. And so rich black folks have assimilated into white culture. And so now we got these big ass loud black voices. Joe Budden says, I'm oppressed because I can't buy a building in this very specific area because that's racism.
The Dr. Umar episode?
Hey, my brother.
I just finished
Niggas don't own shit.
Right.
Niggas don't own shit in America.
Right.
And y'all ain't talking about a motherfucking house. Y'all talking about transgender.
Right.
Hey, y'all talking to Kamala about man, you don't have a house, nigga.
Right.
The fuck?
Right. Hey.
Rich niggas have co-opted the black identity and made it some weird shit, some perverse shit.
That's just like you got Whoopi Goldberg up here talking about, first off,
she ain't even no motherfucking Jew.
Karen Jackson. Your name Karen Jackson. Miss Karen Jackson. Now that's a black name. Karen Jackson. And this Karen with a C, I think.
With her black gums.
Hey, how you gonna sit up here and say that you have to go to work can we trade? I'll go to the View. We talk. This is what we do. I would love to make $74,000 a week just doing what we do right now. It's coming. It's coming. We putting it out to the universe.
Hold on, man. Hold on. I got to dial. This is very expensive. It's very labor intensive.
Yes.
This is hard work. Hey, she has producers. She has camera people. All she has to do is just be Whoopi, and they pay her. All that set design, the gaffers, the staffers, the whole production.
Right.
Nigga, shit's expensive. This is very expensive.
Not only do I feel that that's egregious for you to say that you have to go to work every day like the common man, but then you say, so what if if a drag queen sitting down reading a book to your child?
She said that?
Yeah.
And Karen Johnson she said Karen
Jackson. Karen Jackson, so you're telling me all you liberals talk down on people. You're telling me that I can't have an issue with that. So yes, I would rather vote for a guy that's assumed to be racist. At least I know he's telling me the truth.
He's the only candidate in my memory that had a black agenda. They had a specific black agenda called the Platinum Plan. $500 billion for black Americans.
He's still addressing black people.
$500 billion for black Americans. You say, but that's a lie. Hey, tell me lies. Whisper sweet nothings to me. Kamala didn't say anything like $500 billion. They spent $6 trillion for COVID.
You want me to do my Kamala impression? If you got chicken, then you can get some fries. But if you ain't got no fries, you're not gonna get no juice. That's exactly how she talked to y'all. She talked like she drunk,
She was a
man.
disappointing person. And then when she lost, she disappeared. And all her supporters that poured their time and energy into her, she just left y'all hanging, man. She showed you what her character is like. And I'm not even here to try to tear her down. Y'all can't get mad at me for the race that she ran. Y'all voted for her. And now you got to look at the nation. You got to ask yourself, man, why did I lose? Why did I support a loser? Why do I support these losing ass ideas? And you better come up with some good ass ideas because, hey, there's a black think tank called the Greatest American Alive, and we're going to have policies going forward that represent the best interests of men and families in America. If you want to compete, you better have some better ideas. And if you ain't got no better ideas, we going to get to punching.
And you need to tune in so you can be the greatest American alive.
The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive.